The Caitlin Clark situation, I'm just going to go numbers for you, okay? Because we can play a numbers game with this. Off the top, this is my TV news background. They used to say in TV news, they would come in, we would have these horrible, boring seminars, and they would say, new, now, next. That's how you want to give your newscast. Keep it going. Give them the fresh stuff first. So here's the fresh stuff for Caitlin Clark. Her first game back against the Liberty, where she scored 25 points in the first half, had LeBron James tweeting about her and also sending her direct messages, apparently. They beat the Liberty, who was previously undefeated, 9-0. The game Saturday afternoon on ABC, and 21 million people watched the game. Now, according to Nielsen, that is the most watched WNBA game ever. Now, this all comes on the heels of ratings being down, viewership being down 55%. I want to get this exactly right. I have this all written down here. Lucky for you guys. So this story broke last week, but I want to weave it all in as we talk about this topic. Nationally televised WNBA viewership is down 55% since Caitlin Clark's injury. Again, this was last week. Fever national TV games down 53% during Clark's injury. They averaged 1.8 million before the injury. After the injury, 845,000. Clark, the second-year star, has played in just 4 games this season. She missed the Fever's last 5. Okay, so she comes back and scores 32 points, has 9 assists and 8 rebounds, hits 7 threes. That ties her career high. And they beat the best team in the WNBA. Now, here's a couple more things from the weekend that just prove that Caitlin Clark is so popular that it's undeniable. You bring up your computer, you open it up, and I don't care if you're Terry Souza, my mom, or Pete Souza. Like, the Caitlin Clark stuff is everywhere, and it should be. After her huge game, she tweets yesterday, which is like kind of brilliant on her part, and I don't think it was, I don't think she operates like this. Like, it's not well thought out. But the tweet is, and this is about the U.S. Open, because, guys, we talked with Murph Barton about this last week. We're having a difficult time. She says, is Oakmont even fun to play? I'd shoot 130 easy. And people loved it. People love the fact that she not only is being self-deprecating, but she's watching golf, right? Like the rest of us. Then something even more interesting happened. And this was like where we get a little like into the weeds with this stuff. Her boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey, who needs to just hang on to that because he's got the bag right now. And she seems like a wonderful woman. But Connor McCaffrey is Fran McCaffrey's son. Fran McCaffrey, former coach of Iowa, now is the head coach at Penn, the basketball team. Obviously, he met her, McCaffrey did, the younger McCaffrey, when they were both at Iowa. So he tweeted, I don't know, this is the morning of her big game, her big comeback game. He said, I don't know why people still yell, go Hawks, when they see me. Like, no, go Dogs, go Quakers, go Fever. He's coaching right now. I forget where he is now, but with school, I don't know. Is it Gonzaga? Anyways, he's coaching now for a team, a college team. And then his dad took over Penn, right? Go Quakers, and then go Fever. He's like that's like some sour grapes, right? He's pissed because Iowa fired his dad. She's like, hey, no more. But that tweet, even because he's like kind of connected to Caitlin Clark, well, he is connected to her, that goes viral, okay? He's with Butler right now. That's right, he's with Butler. And then, like I mentioned, during the game, LeBron tweets out, CC effect in full force. Welcome back. You were missed. And this is one game back. So I say all this to reiterate, and I think it's something that is a very real thing right now. And you can send me a tweet, send me a note, post here. Caitlin Clark is the most popular athlete on the planet right now. And I'm not saying she's the best, because there's better players in the WNBA. Asia Wilson is probably the best player, hands down, in the WNBA, right? Paige Beckers has 35 points in her first game back, right? Paige Beckers, nobody's talking about that. Nobody cares. The NBA Finals, like ESPN has the broadcast rights, okay? So, of course, like they're going to open up First Take this morning at Sports Center, and it is the NBA Finals. Like that's what everybody wants to talk about over at ESPN because they're all there. I mean, you have to promote this. And it also is obviously the NBA Finals. But I'm telling you, if it were up to the rest of America, First Take opens up today with Caitlin Clark and how the ratings surged to 21 million people in her first game back, but how prior to that, there was a 55% drop off in TV ratings. Now, I am not one of these people. Like if you've noticed, and I got a bug up my ass about something that happened over the weekend, and there's some journalists out there who have got to get to the bottom of what Brittany Griner said from the bench, where it looks like she may have said, effing white B, right? Which we don't know exactly what she said, but if you don't know the situation, Brittany Griner is on the bench during a game. She, I think, had just fouled out, and she's frustrated, and she's playing Caitlin Clark, and it looks like she may have said about Caitlin Clark, effing white B, right? So, I mean, whatever. If she said it, bad moment, right? But like there are like media outlets that want to get their claws in that story and make it the biggest deal in the world, like it's Watergate. Like it's not, okay? And if you want to go back to, if you want to get into race relations, like look at the history of, underrepresented people and minorities making their way in this country. Like it's not the same. Like just so everybody knows, okay? Just let me get that out there. And I'm a middle of the road guy, maybe lean right more than anything, but like that is super annoying. We have to get to the bottom of what Brittany Griner said. That fuels like the back and forth of like we create this or people are creating this. People in the WNBA don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark as much as they should, and they want to talk about other stuff, and then they want to give other players a free pass when they do stupid stuff. It's not that complex, dude. It's a basketball game. Brittany Griner's pissed because she fouled out. She may have said something. And by the way, coming out of her mouth as a minority, that statement is much different than if it had come out of, a white woman's mouth, right? Going the other direction. So let's just get that. I wanted to address that. I think that's complete BS. But back to the point that I made off the top about Caitlin Clark. She is the most compelling and she is the most popular athlete on the face of the planet right now. I am going to give Scotty Swingler a chance, sitting back in our studio right now. I see him, Scotty, I'm over here. I'm back at home. I set up this beautiful studio. I have this opening rant, and it's nice because I can still see your ass shaking your head while I'm talking about this. So I just want to give you a chance because of how bright you are and how much I respect your intellect. Give me an athlete that is more popular on the face of the earth right now, an active athlete than Caitlin Clark.
Well, if you want the honest truth, Pete, it's probably Lionel Messi, or Yamal, the new kid that's balling out in soccer right now. But
can you turn your volume up a little? Can you turn your volume up a little bit?
Not much, but we'll work.
Okay, you're still good. I can still hear you.
It's probably a soccer player, but if we're just talking America, I'll give you Caitlin Clark. When I was
by the way, you're right. You're right about Messi. I knew you were going to pull some soccer bullshit, but you're right.
Because it's true. You asked me a question, and I'm telling you the truth. But if you're just talking America, I think I agree with you. And I was shaking my head when you tried to qualify it by saying, "Well, there might be better players in the WNBA." No, there's not. No, there's not. She's the best player in the sport. That's why I was shaking my head. She's already breaking WNBA career records left and right, and she's 10 games into year 2. Like, we have never seen a women's basketball player this good. That's why I was shaking my head.
And I'll take it to like a weird 80s Hollywood comparison, right? And just bear with me here. In the 80s, there was nobody quite as popular in the early 80s as like Gary Coleman, right? Everybody thought Gary Coleman was this like adorable guy on different strokes. They were making Gary Coleman TV movies where he actually ended up managing the San Diego Padres to a championship. Robert Guillon plays his dad. It makes no sense. But like any chance they could get to put Gary Coleman out front and center, he was box office, right? But then you had like someone like Meryl Streep, who was like just the most unbelievable, polished, like theatrical thespian that anytime she was in a movie, it would just stop traffic, like Kramer versus Kramer or something like that. Caitlin Clark is both of those things put together. She is Gary Coleman and Meryl Streep in the world of acting in like the 1980s. That's like really, I thought about that this morning. She is so popular. And sometimes popularity doesn't necessarily equal like skills, right? It doesn't necessarily equal steak. It can equal sizzle a lot of times. She is both of those things fused together. And I don't know, and I don't think it's like, this isn't like a negative thing. What I'm saying is like, I just don't believe we've had an athlete that has crashed into a sport and made such a difference, a seismic difference and a seismic impact that I feel like literally all those stories I read, even the one about, like how cool is that, dude? Like seriously, a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's the truth, man. Like, and I think the WNBA is understanding. Sabrina Ionescu talked after their loss about, hey, we are so happy to have her back. And it seems like she's happy. And I feel like the league is kind of getting on board. One thing that I think is a little weird, and I'll wrap up my like opening rant with this because we got actually important stuff to talk about, but this has been fresh on my mind. If you go on ESPN right now, my employer, so I love ESPN, but if you go on their website, their top, like, that thing right here where, let me put it over here and back it up, that like deal, you can't see it, but when you have all the stories that go down, the top headlines, there's nothing about Caitlin Clark, and they have, there's one story buried second from bottom, Angel Reese. It says Skies Reese, second youngest to record a triple-double.
So funny, dude.
That's fine.
It's ridiculous.
There's nothing about Caitlin Clark on there. So I don't understand that either, but whatever. Bear the Truth asked a question, by the way, and I love this because I can see the question. So Scotty is not like the governor of the questions now. I can see him, right? Are Baylor fans seen as apologists for Brittany Griner? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think if anything, Baylor fans have actually, maybe because of like the political climate in Texas, I would say the majority of them have kind of backed away from supporting Brittany Griner, which is whatever. I mean, honestly, that is a whole nother topic, and you can agree and disagree, and we can debate. And that's why I think America's awesome. Let's just not get overly negative and start taking shots at people personally, and stop trying to run Brittany Griner out of the goddamn WNBA or basketball in general. That is a message to people who will probably never hear this, but I'm so over that. I am.
Let me end with one comp that I told you I was going to make, and it's not just me making this comp. Let me scroll through my list here. It's Adam Schefter. It's Michael McCarthy from Front Office Sports. It is RG3. It is Chris Riley. It is Clay Travis. It is Colin Cowherd. All of those people, the reason I pulled up this graphic, all those people have made this comp. Caitlin Clark is not Michael Jordan. She is Tiger Woods. Because as great as Michael Jordan was for the sport of basketball, Tiger Woods single-handedly did ratings the way Caitlin is right now for the WNBA and brought attention to the sport, to probably an underappreciated sport like golf, underappreciated sport like women's basketball, which she is doing right now for women's basketball. And I think Nike is about to really platform her. I've heard rumors of like new logo, shoe release, very similar to some of these NBA guys. Like, she is a pioneer in the way Tiger Woods is. Pete, I just named all the people way more influential than me who have that take. What say you to that?
Oh, I think that's an amazing point. And I think that the sustainability will be super interesting to see how long this can last. And I also believe that it's all about like TV or however, streaming, whatever. These games now are on national television, national linear television. Even the game where she missed, where it was the sky and the Fever was a primetime CBS game. You know, like I told you, like they told Tracker to take a hike, you know, or Queen Latifah, whoever, the Equalizer. Like, and nobody loves watching Queen Latifah beat the shit out of people more than me. But like that they had to put that on ice because we're going to put the WNBA on primetime television on, you know, one of the premium channels, not premium, but you know what I mean, one of the primetime channels on all of television. That's like amazing. And so all the other women involved, and I think that they are starting to come around to it if they were negative. Like, these are great opportunities for them. Like, you're not playing on the Oxygen Network, dude. You're playing on CBS, right? And like, even if I'm a 6-man on a team, now all of a sudden I have an opportunity to play on a Saturday night on CBS or a Tuesday night and hit a jump shot that the whole world would see, as opposed to hitting a jump shot that would only be seen on, you know, WNBA primetime package. That is, you know, you got somebody like me calling the game. So just enjoy it. Okay. That's all I'll say. Great point from that perspective. WNBA ascend to the popularity. That's a good question. Bear the Truth asks, will the WNBA ascend to the popularity of golf? No. I think the Tiger thing was so, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. The Tiger thing was just unbelievable. It was a revolution. And it still goes on. Like, I live in Philly, right up the road. Tiger and a couple guys with deep pockets are building a golf course in downtown Philly that's going to be beautiful, right? And it's going to be accessible to folks maybe with like lower means, but they're still going to work to play like major tournaments there. So that's a cool little project that's underway. I got a little beat on that. But all right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk Cowboys with Matt Mosley. Let's get an expert in here because you haven't had enough of me. But I am an expert on this Caitlin Clark thing. And I'm telling you, she is the most popular athlete, maybe person, in all of America. Nice job by Scotty. Shoot me down there talking about one of his soccer buddies. You can't deny that. All right, the Pete Souza Show presented by Savachics. We're coming back with Matt Mosley talking Cowboys minicamp. I'm curious to see what Matt took from his doomsday interview with Matt Eberflus. And also, I got an idea for him and Ed Werder going forward. I'll share that with all of you and him on the Pete Souza Show when we come back.